Alright, YouTube, Yuri is getting an LD, finally, from a game nobody played except me. I know some people played it, but I did play this game and enjoy it. Quistis, I was about to say something down bad, but I'll just leave it alone. In this video, before you pull on Yuri and Quistis LD, I'll give you some things to think about for you potentially use your limited resources. If you're new to the channel, I play both JP and Global, and I use some of that experience to help inform y'all, potentially. I want to hear your plans for the banner and your thoughts, so go down in the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. I do read them all, and if you want to support the channel further, you can like the video, subscribe, become a member for $1. You get emotes, and I will always reply to your comments. Let's get started. Quistis. Ooh, man, I like Quistis. Okay, moving on. Quistis. Jesus, what is this video? Quistis is, if you're not familiar with her kit, she is a support character. She is a debuffer, debuffing speed down and turn rate down, which means enemies are taking less frequent turns. She provides delay immunity on her LD. All of her skills delay. Skill 1, Skill 2, now EX will with their C90 and LD, they all delay. And because she ignores delay immunity on her LD, she can push enemies back into the Shadow Realm forever. That's really her thing. Her Skill 2, 3-turn delay on demand. She provides battery and brave gain up. Rework, ups her damage. Skill 1 does 2 HP attacks, more hits on her Skill 2, so it's more likely to cap. Her LD does 2 HP attacks, and her LD buff provides party HP damage now. So previously it only provided brave damage up and brave gains up, but now it provides HP damage up. Rounds out her kit a bit more. Her C90 EX does more damage, 3 hits, and it's a single target delay for 1 turn, and she gets more party overflow. You don't really notice that, but it is what it is. Straight into analysis. Quistis' strengths. Ignoring delay immunity is one of the highest forms of cheese, because frame turns are like, alright, you will deal with this boss turns, but then Quistis is like, nah. She provides crazy battery on her skill, especially with the brave gain up she provides. She's got a HP cap leaning higher plus. Speed and turn rate down are just handy in general if the bosses are annoyingly fast. She'll neuter that entirely. They even get a turn in the first place. And she does work with her delays and shenanigans at low investment, so you don't need to like blue her or anything. Weaknesses though, her damage, while it got buffed, it still sucks. Like her damage was bad, and we went through like 6 or 7 months of power creep, and then she got updated, but her damage is just still garbage. And she either works really well, where she doesn't let the bosses get turns, or she cripples them with her speed downs, or it doesn't, because it won't matter, because the bosses might just need to take turns, so you won't bring Quistis. Oh yeah, back in strengths, by the way, I want to point out that she could work in 6 warrior quests. We need to start thinking about that when we get down the line, but you can throw her in there, send them away, and then get Quistis back out. But whip ultimate weapon. What were they thinking? Oh man, it hurts, because I totally sent for Quistis as ultimate weapon, but three characters, and the 3 characters I really like, but damn, whip ultimate weapon, not a great idea ultimately. Sorry, Endo. Teams, you probably don't want to bring tanks or trap units with Quistis unless you're planning on letting the bosses get turns, so it's kind of an asterisk there. Because off-turn stuff with a person who pushes people back and doesn't let the bosses get as many turns, not the greatest idea, but otherwise, brave gain enjoyers will love Quistis because she provides all those buffs. And if you are interested in using Sice down the line, Sice has a funny interaction with Quistis, because Sice's EX drags an enemy's turns next to the other enemy's turns. So if they are delay immune, you can Quistis them back, and then you could Sice them together. So it's a funny interaction, it exists, but just something to think about down the line. Future fights, Kieran's BT fight, that is a delay immune fight, but Quistis ignores that, per usual. Seymour is intersecting well, she literally hits the orb. 2-turn delay on her, Skill 2 and LD. Again, 6 warrior quests generally, you can throw her in there, delay enemies, and get her back out. And Divine Bahamut, that is another fight where it's you need consecutive turns, and then it pauses the orb. And Quistis can delay him and pretty much trivialize that fight. It's one of her unique fight cheeses that's pretty well known. So now we're going to talk about Yuri. Yuri is, I like this game, man. Although I went back through the wiki and I was like, maybe this game wasn't as good as I thought it was when I was a kid. Anyways, let's talk about him. He is a holy damage dealer. He has slight party support because he gives party brave and HP regen on his overhead, and he's got instant break on his it's not instant break, it's set to 0 and then brave attack on his EX, and he's got gravity on his, I guess it's more technically just gravity. So he's got that utility, and he's got a trap attack, kinda. We'll go into that with his LD. So rework, more HP attacks, boring, blah blah blah. C90, he does get EX start, so you're not, you have the EX off the bat, you're not worried about that. You're already providing the party benefits and the buffs to Yuri from the jump. He gets more damage on his C90. I think it does, his HP attacks are 5 on his EX, so that's decent. And he gets 6 turns of his overhead. It was 3 turns before, so it was more likely to run out near the end of his like skill rotation, because it's like 3 skills to charge his EX, and then you keep it up all the time. But now he doesn't have to worry about that as much. But this also plays into his LD. The LD attack itself is a 4 HP attack, split AoE, and it maintains the new buff that he gets. The buff enables the use of a new Brave Plus. Whenever he attacks anyone, he puts a debuff stack of his ring thing. I don't know what it's called. It's a ring thing. He puts a debuff stack on any enemies he attacks. So if he does a single target attack, it'll only be on the one he targeted. If he does an AoE attack, he'll put the debuff, 1 stack of the debuff on everybody. The debuff, defense down 20%, whatever. And it plays into the Brave Plus. So his Brave Plus transforms whenever he is attacking someone with this stack debuff. If it has 1 through 3 stacks, he'll do Holiga, which is, and I'll go over that in a second. But if they get out to 4, he does the plus version, which is a lot stronger. It's functionally a trap. So this debuff has, I think, like what, 6 inflict. It's either 4 or 6 turns. Doesn't matter, because you're probably not using it as a trap in the first place. But when it goes off, it counts as a trap for like, so trap orbs, effect orbs, stuff like that. It will work. So if it goes down all the way, it'll actually just go off on its own. But you can manually trigger it, provided you press Brave Plus. But the actual attack, it removes the debuff from the target enemy, which is why it counts as a trap. So if how many stacks it'll change based on that condition. But the stronger one is when the debuff is at 4 stacks. So ideally, the way you're playing Yuri is you're just building each debuff up on each target to 4 stacks, and then you get high turn rate and it's a free turn. So he'll probably jump up, he'll dispel the buff, and he'll just do a HP attack on them. So depending on what level it is, you should always probably be pressing Holy God Plus. It's 3 split AoE HP attacks, which is decent damage for free, especially if it's got high turn rate. And you could juggle it both so that you could get like a double tap on each enemy, and it'll benefit even better versus 3 targets. So strengths, Yuri's got solid damage. He's got free turns on his Brave Plus, so this can add up. That's a damage increase. HP regen on a damage dealer is nice, can't turn that down. And he has sword ultimate weapon, which is a very flexible ultimate weapon type. So provided you invest in Yuri, if you want to jump around with that ultimate weapon, you can. There's a lot of flexibility in that regard. Weaknesses, they were just trying to be really cute with this debuff. Running that as a trap is almost certainly a bad idea, because if it's maxed out, just press it to start building it up, or else it's kind of a damage loss. His damage, unfortunately, does not really stand out. He's a damage dealer who does okay damage. He doesn't have much identity, I don't think. And really, if you're not, I'm not putting down. Thank you, Lion, for pointing this out. Not being good at low investment isn't a weakness, but being good at low investment is a strength. So if you're running Yuri and he's a damage dealer, he needs full investment to really see any numbers. But even then, I don't think he really stands out at all, which is probably why you probably haven't heard much about him. Teams, because he has a lot of split attacks, he wants HP damage up and overflow. Otherwise, he's just flexible. Throw him in any team. You could throw him with some turn manipulation like Aphmau or Rem down the line, so you could build his trap stacks up faster. But I mean, that's just kind of min-maxing for min-maxing at this point. Future fights, he'll hit the Sayador Heretics, because it's a holy orb and he does holy damage. He enchants himself with holy, so he's good on that. The Anacro fight, holy. The 6 Warrior Quest beta, because he's got HP regen. And the King LD fight, where you need to recover skills, because he recovers both of his skills on his EX, so just keep that in mind. The orb for the event, let's move on. It's non-lethal, but it does forcibly break you, and it does a Brave plus HP, and it inflicts doom on you, so that's not fun to deal with, although I can't think you can just get around that with debuff immunity. Don't think Aerith and Lena, but you need to do 200k HP damage, and it's plus 10 if it's Holy Brave attack on top of it. It does punish turn hogging. It'll apply a freeze effect on the field, so need to probably let the bosses get turns and not spam the same character over again, unless you just kill it fast enough. But you actually can't really rush this one down, because at thresholds it'll throw up the skeleton ads, and the main boss will take no damage unless these guys are dead. So you got to focus on them. And I think there's a point where he'll warp the ads forward, and it's really I don't know the exact conditions for it, but they do brave plus HP, so just watch out for that. If you have mitigation, you're good, but they can drain your HP and then bring it back into themselves. But the ads don't have that much HP, so provided you've got decent enough AoE or can just burn them down, if you've got enough single target, you're good to just continue wailing on the boss. And the orb can't go up because it needs HP damage on the boss. So if you're not careful, this boss can hurt you, but fortunately we have like Locke and Locke friends and Ico especially carries this fight, because it's holy orb. The boss can hurt you, but Ico can just re-raise or revive, resurrect, whatever it's called, through it. Lena to avoid their debuffs. Kuja just for the general holy enchant. Locke so you don't get broken. But I actually don't know the interaction between Doom and Locke. That's a great question. I don't know. But Locke will heal you. I don't think anything they do will kill you outright, so Locke will just heal you back up. Any mitigation, regardless here, is just a good idea. And the fight doesn't have a terrible... It's 15 million HP on the main boss. So while you do have to deal with the thresholds, it's nothing we can't punch through with any of the tools we currently have. What are my plans? I'm pulling. Only because I like Yuri, and I always wanted to play him, but whenever he comes out, I just never use him, really. But I'm committed to it. I've been building my regular sword for this reason, just because I want to invest in him. Premium Pass can get a 5 out of 5 ultimate weapon by this point, so I just want to have some fun. It looks like a fun character. There's no really any practical reason I would pull otherwise, and I already have Quistis, but again, I'm pulling for the featured unit, not anyone else. So yeah, I'm gonna be running Yuri. Look forward to that. So before you pull on this banner, what are my thoughts? It's from a meta perspective, people on the fence. If you already decided, do what you got to do. But here's some of what I'm thinking. I think maybe at best this banner is best for tickets, for getting Quistis, because Quistis is really handy. She will come back with Sabin's FR way down the line. That's when she gets her force enhancement. But the amount of fights she can kind of cheese from here to now is decent amount. So I think Quistis is at least worth grabbing in some capacity. Yuri though, however, nope. I don't think he's super good. I think he looks fun, but I don't think he's really anything special. He is a BT candidate down the line, and that is going to poison the well, as it always does in this community. But I do earnestly think that Yuri doesn't quite stand out, and then his BT and FR are pretty damn good. But Yuri now, we know you have a future, bud, but they do buff his damage significantly then, and his FR and BT, like I said, are good. But now I don't think there's anyone I could recommend pulling Yuri. It's not like anything he's doing you can't cover with whatever banner unit comes out. So yeah, it's a hard sell for Yuri. I think he's one of the more underwhelming units, but I'll be running him because I want to. But I'm not going to feel the need to go and tell everyone how good he is. I'm going to just do my runs and mind my own business. So yeah, ultimately, I think if you don't have Quistis LD at this point, I think it's a good idea to try and maybe ticket her and grab her. I wouldn't go nuts on this banner, but I think Quistis is a good pickup, but I don't think Yuri is. Okay, and that's all I got though. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.